Detective Mark Blackwood's sharp blue eyes scanned the darkened alleyways of the city he had dedicated his life to protecting. The persistent rain fell in heavy sheets, drenching the pavement and pouring over the memories that haunted him. For 20 years, he had been chasing the elusive figure of Lucas Hargrave, the man responsible for his partner's death, a crime that had etched itself into the very fabric of his existence. Each day, framed photos of his fallen partner, David, reminded him of the burning need for justice that simmered beneath his skin. David had been the brother he never had, and the emptiness of his loss lingered like an open wound. After 2 decades, all Mark had were leads that led to dead ends, scars that couldn't heal, and the increasing weight of despair pressing against his chest. He had poured his life into the investigation, often at the expense of his marriage to his wife, Susan. They had grown distant, their conversations a series of perfunctory exchanges. They'd lost the spark that had ignited the flame of their love, leaving only the remnants of a once vibrant relationship. Suspecting he was trapped in a deadened shell, Mark found solace in the shadows of the cases he pursued. But then he met Emma. She was a stormy night wrapped in enchanting allure, an intoxicating blend of danger and femininity. They crossed paths while he sifted through old records at a forgotten library that housed archives of unsolved cases. Emma had been a librarian, and her expressive gray eyes filled with curiosity. Their conversations began innocently enough, discussing the ins and outs of police procedures, the tragic ends of justice long since abandoned. But the chemistry crackled between them, a visceral spark that pulled at Mark's weary heart. 3 months later, their friendship had morphed into a passionate affair, concealed behind the veils of secrecy and lust. Every moment with her was an escape from the hollow ache of the past, a visceral connection wielded against the demons that lurked in his mind. It felt thrilling and dangerous, akin to playing with fire in a dry forest. Emma exuded confidence and strength, captivated by the stories Mark shared of his past. In her eyes, he found understanding, in her arms, he found reprieve. They would meet in secluded motels, reveling in the darkness that surrounded them. With every kiss, every whispered promise, he lost himself deeper in the intoxicating fog of their affair. But the shadows of the past cast long and dark. Mark dug through the old case files consistently, consumed by an insatiable hunger to bring David's murderer to justice. However, the closer he came to pieces of the truth, the more tangled his connection with Emma became. Each revelation about Hargrave drew him further into the criminal underbelly that loomed like an impending storm, and yet, the allure of Emma was a siren's call he couldn't resist. Weeks turned into months, and with each stolen moment, Mark's resolve to end the affair faltered. The electric pull of her presence filled him with warmth, allowances of joy amid the shadows that stalked him day and night. Yet, despite the cocoon of intimacy enveloping them, there remained a gnawing sense of dread in the pit of his stomach. Substantial caution lurked in his mind, whispering hints of a truth he was too afraid to unveil. Then came the night of the dreaded climax, amidst the thunderstorm that mirrored his turmoil. They had retreated to their usual motel after a dinner that had started with warmth and laughter. The air was thick with tension, the shadows elongating as they unraveled the boundaries of their physical attachment. Mark, wanting to savor the moment, cradled her face in his hands, lost in the depths of her eyes. "What would you say if I told you I'd been searching for someone for years?" he murmured, teasingly, lost in the haze of rose-tinted passion. "I'd say that all that matters is this moment, Mark. It's all we have." Emma leaned in closer, brushing her lips against his with a mischievous smile. But Mark clenched tighter around her waist, a pit of guilt surfacing. "No, Emma. You don't understand. A man killed my partner 20 years ago, David. I've been trying to find the bastard ever since." Emma's expression faltered for just a moment before her allure strengthened, her response tinged with curiosity instead of fear. "What was his name?" "Lucas Hargrave," Mark said, his voice hollow with the weight of the years. "He slipped through the cracks. But every tip, every thread leads me back to him. I'm in too deep to let it go, or let go of him. The silence stretched between them. The growing tension within him wove an inescapable connection to his commitment, not to the force, but to the memory of his partner. And in that moment, a break flickered in Emma's stoic facade. She hesitated, uncertainty flashing through her gaze before she shook her head, dismissing the intensity of the moment. "Mark, maybe we should." But before she could finish, the phone buzzed against the table loudly, jarring them both. An urgent message flashed on the screen from an anonymous contact, *, Hargrave is closer than you think. *. Mark's adrenaline surged. I need to take this. As he stepped out onto the balcony for privacy, darkness blanketed the city. But as he placed the call, his heart raced not with the thrill of pursuit but with dread. Hours passed like slow drudgery, the weight of anticipation hung heavy in the air. Finally, he returned to the room, but the familiar warmth he sought was gone. The bed was empty, gone were the sheets crumpled from earlier passion. Only a cold sense of void prevailed. "Emma," he called, uneasiness settling into his bones as he noticed the open door. Panic bubbled in him as he shoved hastily through the door and into the cold hallway. His heart thundered violently against his chest as he scanned the empty corridors. The heavy silence seemed to mock him. That's when he noticed a slip of paper fluttering beneath the door. Grabbing it, the hair on the back of his neck prickled as he read the scrawled note. *, you should know the truth, family matters. *. He stumbled back, shock paralyzing him like ice as he suddenly pieced together the haunting reality. Emma's name, her worth, unexpectedly twisted into something far darker. The revelation hit him with the force of a wrecking ball. Emma was the daughter of Lucas Hargrave, the very man he'd been hunting for 2 decades. Rage, anguish, and betrayal surged within him like wildfire, igniting a fury he wouldn't contain. "Emma," he roared, his voice echoing down the hall. But his calls went unanswered. Heart racing, he ran to his car, the chase thrumming within him, this time fueled by adrenaline not for affection, but for vengeance. After frenzied searching, he finally found her, hunched against the wall of an abandoned warehouse, the very heart of the criminal operations that thrived under the city's unsuspecting eyes. "How could you do this to me?" Mark growled, fury mingling with lingering passion. "After everything, after all those stolen moments. You lied." Emma looked up, her eyes pools of conflicting emotions, fear, love, and the instinct of a hunted animal. "Mark, it's not what you think. I didn't know for sure when we met. It's only after I heard stories tracing back to my father that I put it together." He stepped forward, the distance between them electric. "You're his daughter?" "Yes. And that's why I had to come here. I was trying to find out why he did what he did for all those years. Everyone says I'm like him, but I don't want to be. I wanted to help you." Every thread of betrayal knotted in his chest, but as he studied her, a blend of defiance and vulnerability, he saw the innocent woman who had embraced him in shadows, who shared in the thrill of their ignited passion. "You could have stopped this. You could have let me know. I didn't know it was you. I was falling for you, and loving you was worth the risk. I wanted to make sure you weren't like him. I thought you'd haunt my dreams." Mark's heart thudded painfully as their past with one another flickered like a candle in a storm, dancing shades of lust and emotional entanglement against the grid of reality. "But you didn't tell me the truth. How do I know you weren't a pawn in this whole game?" "Because I'm here now," she pleaded, her voice hoarse with desperation. "Because I ran from him. I hate what he's done. I wanted to protect you from being dragged into his world." Mark's anger ebbed and flowed like the tide before crashing against the rocks. He felt trapped between the gravity of love and the obsession for vengeance. How could he reconcile the woman who had captured him entirely and the monster who had destroyed his best friend? As he stood before her, caught in the collision of sorrow and desire, Mark faced a decision that would alter the course of both their lives. He could walk away, sever the ties and dismiss the tumultuous relationship rooted deep in deceit. Or he could dig deeper, plunge into the abyss alongside Emma and acknowledge the twisted love that had blossomed amidst the ruins of shattered promises. "I can't let this go," he said, his voice grounded in resolve. "Not now. Not ever. I owe it to David. But do you want to come with me? Can you live with it?" Emma's breath caught in her throat, vulnerability laid bare before him. "I want to help you heal. I want to help you catch him." And in that moment, Mark saw the glimmer of hope amid the darkness. They could fight together against the ghosts of their pasts, entangled in a web neither of them had woven. Then, together, they embraced his pain and rejected the shadows, embarking on a dangerous journey into the heart of the unknown, a pursuit of justice riding with their haunting love, a dark romance bound by blood yet illuminated by desire. As they stepped into the night, hand in hand, a blend of shadow and light danced at the edge of the horizon, whispering promises of justice, chaos, and the bittersweet complexity of a love forged in dark places.